Unit 3, Period 3, Roman numeral 3. Today we're going to discuss the presidency of James Monroe. James Monroe was the fifth president of the United States. He was the third Democratic Republican president of the United States and had served as Secretary of State for his good friend James Madison. James Monroe's presidency is defined by a term known as nationalism. In this case, nationalism is defined as an attempt by the government to unify the country domestically, territorially, and through foreign policy. The first one that we're going to talk about is the development of nationalism domestically. Domestically means at home. The Democratic Republicans are going to face a new political party. This new political party that replaced the Federalists is known as the Whigs. The Whigs are going to be led by famous men such as Henry Clay and Daniel Webster. And their thought process is to make the national government stronger so that it can unify the new territories in the West and the slower developing territories in the South with that of the East and unify the country. Their theory is known as the American system. And the American system was a three-part plan. Um, One part was a tariff. A tariff, in the eyes of the uh, Whigs, was to protect American industry at home. And in this example, British made cloth is imported in the United States at $4 a roll, but a 25% tariff or tax is added by the national government, which increased the price of the cloth to $5 a roll. American manufacturers, therefore, could sell their cloth at $4 a roll, and American consumers would obviously buy the American cloth, which in turn would help American manufacturers. Another part of the Whig plan to increase nationalism at home domestically is the American system. And the American system is was developed by a Whig named Henry Clay and Daniel Webster. And Henry Clay was from Kentucky, which was considered a Western state. And he felt like that a national bank would provide one single currency, and therefore all the states could use that currency. And so, therefore, it would make trade a lot easier. A third part of the uh, American system by the Whigs was the development of our nation's infrastructure. And this is a series of roads and canals that would be built across the United States to, to unite the country physically and make trade easier and make us a stronger country. How would they do this? Would be develop the nation's infrastructure with roads, as seen on the map here, and canals. And these would cross state lines. The most famous improvement was the Erie Canal, a 363-mile canal built connecting the Hudson River, shown by the red line, going north from New York City, 363 miles back over to Lake Erie. And that would enable a ship to leave the Atlantic Ocean through New York, travel up the Hudson River, and across Lake Erie, the Erie Canal to Lake Erie, and therefore would be able to go into the interior part of the United States. This is a picture showing how the Erie Canal was used. Uh, it, Mules and horses would pull the boats through the canal. Another um, aspect of the internal improvements that went on under the Whig system of the American system was the National Road. And the National Road was built connecting Cumberland, Maryland, eventually all the way to St. Louis, Missouri. And this was called a national road because it connected states together. And so that's why the states felt like the national government should be funding these. And that's where the platform of the Whigs came into effect and where they came up with a system known as the American system. This concludes Unit 4, Period 4, James Monroe's presidency as it deals with nationalism on the domestic level.